Right now, across the corporate world, millions of smart, ambitious people are voluntarily taking massive pay cuts, giving up 15 to 20 hours of their free time every week, and thanking their bosses for the opportunity. This is the dry promotion. You receive a shiny new job title and a heavy pile of new responsibilities, while your paycheck remains exactly the same. This chart tracks the percentage of U.S. employers handing out these zero-raise promotions. In 2018, it sat around 8%. By 2023, that number spiked to 37%. Companies use this title-based system to extract extra labor while avoiding the cost of a higher salary. It is a method for acquiring your overtime at zero cost. Human resources data highlights a specific bias in how we view the latter. In recent surveys, 63% of employees chose a higher title with no raise over a raise without a promotion. The majority of the workforce will choose an imaginary status symbol over actual, spendable money. Corporations read that exact data and acted on it. They realized they can keep the actual financial capital for themselves as long as they pay their top performers in pure ego. Let's look at a best-case scenario. This chart breaks down a seemingly massive $30,000 raise, bumping a worker from an $80,000 salary to $110,000. First, we subtract taxes. Between federal income tax, state tax, and FICA, the mandatory payroll deductions for Social Security and Medicare, a high-tax area can instantly shear off up to 41% of that new money before you ever see it. Then comes lifestyle inflation. Biology wires us to automatically spend between 65 and 85 cents of every new dollar we earn. Let's be conservative and say a bigger apartment or nicer dinners eat up 60% of what is left after taxes. Next, we deduct the physical costs of maintaining executive status. Mandatory office days, daily commuting, lunches, and dry cleaning steal another $4,000 to $12,000 a year. Look at what remains. Out of that original $30,000 raise, you are left netting between $1,000 to $5,000 in actual investable savings. The financial windfall of climbing the corporate ladder is mostly an illusion. It looks impressive on paper, but it barely moves the needle on your actual wealth. The money is only half the equation. The heaviest hidden cost of a promotion is the massive unpaid overtime required to maintain that new title. To measure true wealth, we have to look at a metric called effective hourly rate, your total take-home pay divided by the actual number of hours you give to your employer. This table lays out the comparison. On the left, a vice president earning $130,000 a year, working 55 hours a week. On the right, an individual contributor who stayed at $90,000, working 40 hours. When we divide the VP's salary by their total hours worked, their effective rate drops to $45.45 an hour. The individual contributor, working exactly the hours they agreed to, earns $43.27 an hour. The final difference between the two is exactly $2.18 per hour. That is the true value of the executive premium, paid out in exchange for losing 15 hours of your personal life every single week. Climbing the ladder devalues your time. It tricks you into trading the most productive hours of your week for literal pennies on the dollar. A dry promotion allows a company to acquire more of your time and expertise, while the actual cost to their bottom line remains stagnant. It is time to stop measuring career progress by gross annual salary, or how impressive your job title looks on a resume. When you evaluate any career move, there are exactly two metrics that actually matter: your true net investable savings and your effective hourly rate. Once you understand the math behind this unbalanced equation, you understand exactly why the smartest professionals in the room are looking their bosses in the eye and confidently saying no. From the first day you walk into an office, the directive is clear. You climb the staircase. You put in the extra hours, outwork your peers, and secure that management title. But the corporate ladder operates on an asymmetric ledger. The higher you climb, the more the scale tips against you, masking massive hidden costs behind the slightly larger paycheck. The legal framework for this trap is the Fair Labor Standards Act. Under this law, the moment you are promoted to a manager earning over $43,888 a year, a legal switch flips. You are classified as a salaried exempt employee. That exemption legally strips away your right to collect overtime pay. Every hour past 40 is mathematically worth 0. Let's run the math on a standard vice president who puts in 55 hours a week. By the end of the year, that VP has given the company 780 hours of unpaid labor. That equals 19 and a half full work weeks. You're working for free for almost half a year. A salaried promotion is rarely a true raise. It is a financial mechanism for your employer to buy a massive volume of your finite time at a steep discount. To see how this math plays out in daily life, we can look at two 38-year-old employees at the exact same company who made very different choices. First, there is Blake. He took every promotion offered and is now a director earning $145,000 a year. On paper, Blake is winning the game, but that salary comes with requirements. He has built a lifestyle requiring a $520,000 mortgage and $1,600 in monthly car payments to look the part of a successful director. It is Tuesday at 6:52 p.m. Blake is still at his desk. He has 47 unread Slack messages demanding his attention, and his 401k holds only $87,000 because his bloated monthly expenses eat up his high salary. Then there is Jordan. She earns $98,000 as a fully remote individual contributor. When the company offered her the last two promotions, she said no. On that exact same Tuesday, Jordan shuts her laptop at 6:15 p.m. She controls her own schedule, and because she kept her expenses low, she has maxed out her 401k for 7 years, compounding a $212,000 balance. Blake earns $47,000 more in gross income, yet he has $125,000 less in investable wealth, and he works 18 additional hours every week for 0 extra pay. Climbing the ladder forces you to adopt a lifestyle that consumes the raise. You end up trading away your time to subsidize a higher tax bracket, leaving you poorer in actual wealth. We have to measure the true opportunity cost here. What could you build if you took back those 15 to 20 unpaid hours each week? Let's assume you use that reclaimed time to build a very modest side project, generating just $2,000 a month in extra income. This ticker shows the SPY, an ETF tracking the S&P 500 index. If you take that $2,000 and invest it into the S&P 500 at its historical average return of 10% annually, after 20 years, that side project becomes $1.375 million. That wealth is generated in the exact same hours a VP spends building slide decks for free. That lack of personal wealth becomes incredibly dangerous during a corporate cost-cutting cycle. In 2023, middle management positions accounted for 31% of all corporate layoffs. Companies target the climbers because their titles make them the most expensive lines on the spreadsheet. When individual contributors lose their jobs, they have lean monthly expenses and tactical, easily transferable skills. Laid-off directors are left holding giant mortgages and resumes filled with obsolete titles. The system is designed to maximize your utility to the company while leveraging your personal life. The modern workforce is starting to run this math. They are looking at the prize at the top of the ladder and quietly saying no. This chart highlights a recent survey showing that 62% of individual contributors actively prefer staying in their current roles rather than moving into management. Even more telling, barely 4% of respondents now view the C-suite as their ultimate career goal. The next time your employer offers you a dry promotion or a slight title bump with no real pay increase, run the numbers on what it actually costs. They are asking you to fund their corporate success by sacrificing your evenings and your weekends. Your job title does not pay your mortgage, and it does not build your net worth. Only your protected time and your automated investments can do that. So when you are called into that meeting room, you have a choice. You can keep building their empire for free, or you can keep your time and finally build your own.